Hi everyone, we're back and we're playing more Griselbrand in Modern. We are continuing to iterate on the Grishoalbrand, Ice Station Zebra, whatever you want to call it, deck that I've played a few times previously on this channel. If you haven't seen those, go back and check them out. There's some really cool gameplay and some really cool games in them. This time, I'm continuing by testing Utopia Sprawl in the deck. So one of the things I noticed last time where I cut Ignoble Hierarch for Malevolent Rumble is that it does make Buried Alive feel a little bit clunky, because the soonest you can play Buried Alive, if you're not playing any form of Accelerant, is on turn 3. And sometimes that's a little bit slow. So Utopia Sprawl comes in nicely as an Accelerant that doesn't require us to have a creature in play. So we still blank all of our opponent's creature removal, but now we can play a Buried Alive on turn 2. And rather than cut the Malevolent Rumbles, I've trimmed some of the extraneous cards. So the Necrotic Ooze, the couple of Thoughtseize, and I'm going to continue to try and go with the 4 Rumble and the 4 Grizzly Salvage. So other than that, in the sideboard, we have a fairly similar looking sideboard to last time. Collective Brutality is a new addition that is going to be good against both control decks as well as potentially something aggressive. But we also have Veto Thorn over Sorin, just testing this out because Veto Thorn could be used for the Shoal Worm combo at instant speed, whereas Sorin can't be. So that's just something I want to try. Other than that, should look pretty similar. Let's get into some games. Let's see what happens. And we're here in game number 1. This time we are on the play. Our hand is not very good. We can't play our Utopia Sprawl. We also can't really play our Grizzly Salvage, so I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this. This hand is... it's not great. We do have a Gorios, but we have no way to look for a Griselbrand or put one into the yard if we find one. I think I'm going to mulligan this again. And this is definitely a little bit worse. I probably am going to keep this with the idea that between Mortuary Saga, I at least have a chance of A, finding a reanimation target with the Mortuary, and then B, hopefully also getting a Griselbrand into the yard with this Buried Alive. So this will be a keep. I'm not super excited about it though. I'm going to send back the Soul Spike and one of the worms. So we have Shoal Worm to gain us a little bit of life and potentially buy some time. It's worth noting that this league is recorded the day after the... ooh, do I want another Saga? Then I can turn 2 Saga, turn 3 Saga, make constructs. I mean, I could be on a construct plan with this, but this additional Saga is actually not that good in that case. So I think I'm actually going to ship this Saga. So this is recorded after the Grief and Nadu banning. I think overall that's fairly good news for us in general. Okay, so our opponent is looking like they are on Tron. And we draw another worm, which is pretty bad for us. Definitely need to hit the land next turn, and even then we might be in trouble because we just have a fairly slow hand. Really, our best draw would, I guess, be Shifting Woodland, but... they have Ugin's Labyrinths. They are maybe on E-Tron, it looks like. Talisman, sure. Track their map, maybe? Yeah. They have Micah Spawn, that would also be very bad for us. They pick up an Urza's Mind. So they're not going to have Tron next turn, but they will the turn after. You do pick up a swamp, so that's good. Question here, though, is do we even want to show them a Buried Alive? Like, do we have a high enough chance to win this game that it becomes worth trying? I think it probably is worth it. So, yeah, I think... Because if we draw a Goryo's, we just win. We can get a Haywire Might with the Urza Saga for whatever haste piece they end up getting. So I'm going to try this Buried Alive. And if they have a Myco spawn, we again still have chances. So I'm going to ditch, I think, just 3 Griselbrands to thin our deck, because I don't really want to draw Griselbrand. I'd rather draw Endurance or Worm than another Griselbrand. Now, if they have a Kozilek's command, that would be pretty bad for us. But I don't really think I can do a lot to play around that at this point. So we're just going to hope that they don't have it. And this is maybe a Myco spawn? Or it's a... Okay, yeah, it's a Myco spawn. But it's not kicked, so we don't lose a land. So it's not the worst version of this. They do get a tower/mine. Do they have command for 3? It's feeling like it is. Oh no, it's a Thought-Knot. So here I'm going to Shoal Pitch Worm in response. And I mean, if we do have a window here. So we have sorcery, instant, land, enchantment, creature. So our graveyard is pretty full. So if we draw a Shifting Woodland or a Goryo's Vengeance, we do get there. If they had a Kozilek's command, I think they would have certainly used it there. So I feel like they probably don't. And there's a chance that they top deck it, but... Ooh, and we draw the Gristle, or the Goryo's. That's huge. All right, so I'm going to float a mana here. We're going to search for a Zurin Orb. That's something we can potentially use during this turn. I'm going to go for a Goryo's on Griselbrand. I don't want to allow them to untap, because if they untap, they could potentially have a Kozilek's command, and that would be bad for us. All right, so now we're going to attack, gain a little bit more life. And now we draw some cards. And I kind of didn't think we were going to win this one, but it's looking like we will. Got a Soul Spike here, spike them. I can use... Do they know about Grizzly Salvage? Not necessarily. They know about Buried Alive. They know about Griselbrand, so I don't mind using those. Excuse me. Okay. So that worked. Got Shoal Pitch Worm again. And yeah, so far looking good. All right, so we draw 7 more. We just need 2 more spikes because the Griselbrand did connect, so we don't even need to full combo here, which is also nice. All right, and our opponent scoops it up. So yeah, that's game 1 over Eldrazi Tron. So they can have a lot of hate via artifacts and enchantments, so I'm definitely interested in Haywire Might, also this Boseiju. They're not really going to deal with our graveyard, so Nile Spellbomb I'm a little less into. Expedition Map for Woodland is, I think, probably too slow. Needle for some sort of artifact or enchantment hate could be interesting. Not 100% sold on that. And then Pact does shut down Kozilek's command, but it's really not good against anything else. Footsteps is also a little bit of speed, which could be nice on the draw. So these are definitely coming in. These are some things to think about. I'm going to cut a fetch here, I think, for the Beseiju, because I just want more natural mana producing lands. I think I don't want the Utopia Sprawls against a deck that is playing Sowing Mica Spawn. Buried Alive is definitely, I think, my worst of my Entomb effects. Although, well, there's a chance I just bring things down before. Zurin Orb, I think, is not critical either. They don't have the fastest clock. Maybe we go a couple Pact for Kozilek's command, and we bring in the Footsteps, try and be a little bit speedy. And our opening hand here is, so we do have Shoal Worm, we have Rumble, we have Saga. But we can't, and we can cast the Rumble off of the Turn Timber. So we essentially have like Saga 2 lands, Shoal Worm. I'm going to keep this. It's a little bit on the slower side, but I think it has the potential to kind of grind against their hate a little bit with a Saga plan, and it could develop into a reasonably fast combo kill as well. I don't think this hand is very likely to turn 3. I think it could turn 4, though. We have to hit well, but, you know, if we hit, like, a Shifting Woodland, and then our Saga goes and gets a cookbook because we draw a Griselbrand or something, then, you know, there's chances. Alright, so I'm going to play the Turn Timber. The question is, do I want to pay the 3 life to get the Haywire Might in play? I think I do not want to. Because I don't want to show them this and let them know how they should sequence their hate. Chalice on 1 isn't really something we care that much about, so if they have Chalice on 1, I mean, be my guest. Go to our turn, we pick up a Grizzly Salvage. That's kind of interesting. I think I'm going to still play the Saga so that I have the Saga coming off on 4, and then I can play the Rumble here at least still. So we do find Shifting Woodland, so we will take that. Yeah, it's just got to be Shifting Woodland. And we don't control a forest, so that's just something to be mindful of, that this will be tapped when it comes in for now. And they have Mine Tower, Power Plant, Natural Tron, but what's their follow-up? They've got a Thought-Knot Seer. Alright, so I'm going to shoal a Worm because don't give them the choice to take the Worm. And, you know, we'll see what other stuff they have. Maybe I should have played the Haywire Might because of the risk of Thought-Knot Seer. That's something worth thinking about. Alright, so Thought-Knot comes in. I mean, if they take Haywire, it's probably because they have some sort of follow-up hate card. But we can next turn play like Swamp, Pass. Okay, they took the Grizzly Salvage. So, you know, that's not super exciting for us. They play a map and they can crack it. Maybe they go get a forest, maybe make a Mica spawn or something. I would like to see that. That would be bad. Okay, they get another tower, so that's then feeling like an Ulamog, perhaps. Which would also be bad. So I'm not liking our position so much right now. We do find a Griselbrand. The question here is, yeah, I do play the Woodland here. Because next turn I have Swamp, Activate, and I think I'm going to actually play the Haywire Might as well. And hopefully they don't have I mean, if they just have, yeah, I think Ulamog is probably just going to be death here, but maybe they don't have it. Maybe they're just ramping more. You just play like a, what's like a thing that wouldn't be scary? They don't really play Wormcoil Engine. It's looking like an Ulamog, unless it's a huge Kozilek's command. Ugin. Okay, Ugin is actually not that scary. Ugin may be beatable. Depends on if they have artifact or enchantment removal, or like a hate card to follow up, but it's one or more colors. None of my cards are colored. I think that's a mistake, because they could have like bolted the Haywire Might or something. Not sure what the deal is with that, but I'll take it. Okay, so I think I don't need to block this. Okay, actually, maybe I should block it with Haywire Might, because what else are they going to do? I mean, they could have Surgical, but... yeah, I mean... we're just going for it here on our turn, and if they have something that stops us, then they have something that stops us. Congratulations to them. So here I'm going to tap. We're going to search out a cookbook. We're going to dump the Griselbrand, or we're going to play a swamp for turn. We're going to dump the Griselbrand with the cookbook. Get a food. Goryo's back the Griselbrand. We could have Shifting Woodlanded there, so the Goryo's was not an essential draw, but it's still nice to draw it because now we gain a little bit more life. It makes the combo a little bit more reliable here. We'll attack their face, and they scoop it up. So a pretty clean match 1 win over Eldrazi Tron. Let's get to round number 2. So match number 2, we have a hand here that is okay. Endurance and Nourishing Shoal are kind of blanks, although Endurance potentially could have some use. Catacombs does fetch a Surveil land. We have Haywire Might as like an anti-hate card. Saga. We don't have a reanimation spell yet, but Salvage can potentially find it. I am going to keep this largely on the back of having being a reasonable Saga plan hand, and leaning on the Salvage for like dump Griselbrand and find a woodland. So our opponent leads on Steam Vents. Okay. Passes the turn. Let's go to our turn. We pick up a woodland. Excellent. So I'm going to play Verdant, and I'm just going to pass. I see no reason to play Haywire Might here. I'm just going to go for the Surveil land on end step. Looks like our opponent is playing Control. Go for Mortuary. And do I want a Buried Alive? I think I will take a Buried Alive. I understand it's not likely to resolve, but it is something that they probably will counter, and lets me try to force through another spell, or maybe if they counter the Grizzly Salvage, then I resolve the Buried Alive. So some options there. And here I'm just going to hold up the Grizzly Salvage. If they tap out, then I'll Grizzly Salvage in response. Otherwise, I'll Grizzly Salvage on their end step, and if they counter it, then I'll go for the Buried Alive. Looking like they're countering it. Okay, so they do counter it. So we go to our turn. Here, I'm going to play Saga. Get that going. And then I'm going to go for Buried Alive. And this is basically demanding that they have a Force of Negation. They don't. I think we're in a pretty good spot. Okay, they don't. So I'm just going to dump 3 Griselbrands. I'm not expecting main deck Grave Hate out of them. We have instant land, creature, sorcery in the yard already, so I don't need to worry about Delirium, and our Haywire Might is in our hand anyway, so it's not like we could have done a ton with that. Go to our opponent's turn, and they are playing a Teferi. Okay. And then they're surveilling away a Thundering Falls, or surveilling away with a Thundering Falls. They bounce the Saga. Okay. Sure. So we are kept off the Shifting Woodland, but little do they know we picked up a Goryo's Vengeance. I think that might do a lot of work for us here. So I'm going to replay the Saga. And then I'm going to go for a Goryo's on the Gristle. And if they picked up a Force of Negation, then more power to them. But if they didn't, they're going to lose here. All right, and they scoop it up. It's interesting, unless maybe they've seen our deck before, but they didn't wait to see how we actually kill them. All right, so we're going into sideboarding against Control. So we want our Pacts, although the Teferi can be annoying for that. We want Brutality. I'm not as into Zurin Orb. I'm not as into Utopia Sprawl. What else? Expedition Map, a little bit better in a slower matchup. Haywire Might, I mean, they could certainly have artifact or enchantment based hate. Seiju probably over the Misty. Do I want like another Haywire Might? I think I probably do. Having access to a couple mites is good. What don't I need? I think I've been buried. Maybe one Buried Alive and like one Rumble. Buried Alive is a little bit clunky. Maybe it's one more land. Yeah, maybe we got rid of one Burden even. 17, 18 lands. We do have the map. Yeah, I'll go like this. A bunch of cards that like look for lands too, so. Act can definitely be a little bit awkward against Teferi, but we kind of need to play it, so it's just the reality of the situation. This hand is interesting. I'm going to keep it because we have Griselbrand in hand and Saga, so we have an easy way to dump our Griselbrand even if Buried Alive and Salvage don't resolve. Hopefully, and we also have the Woodland in our hand, so we basically just need to draw lands, and then we can play a game here. Opponent leads on Hallowed Fountain. Shocking it in. Pick up a Goryo's, which is interesting. Could have been a case to play the Saga there in case, or so that I have the potential for a turn 3, but we'd have to tap for it on our turn. I think that's just not that likely to happen. So I'm not really feeling the need to do that. We do need to pick up some more lands though. Next turn, it's going to be Saga, play 2 Haywire Mites probably. Unless they play like a, something I need to kill, Rest in Peace or whatever. And then it's going to be Saga, play Haywire Mite. Or Haywire Mite and kill it. If I draw a black land, I'll still play the Saga, I think. I could have a Teferi. I'm going to go for the Rumble here, though, because I need to find the land. Expect this to get countered, but maybe. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, that's a little bit awkward that we're losing Cookbook. It's actually very awkward. I was kind of counting on that Cookbook. I still think I just have to take the land. Yeah, do I have another option? No, I don't. That's so awkward. All right, well, we're gonna pass. They have Dress Down. Okay, so they do get to kill our spawn. No, they don't. It just loses its ability. So they're just cycling a Dress Down. Kind of interesting that they didn't save that for Saga. I would read that as them having another dress down. Oh, they're just using it to put the Flage into play. Never mind. Then we go to our turn. They did tap out here. So we have Tomb paying 2 life. And I can go for a Buried Alive, or I can go for a Grizzly Salvage. And if the Grizzly Salvage hits, I win right on. Oh, no, I don't, because I don't have the colored man. Okay, so it's a Buried Alive. It's definitely just a Buried Alive. And maybe they have a Force of Negation, but looks like they don't. I'm going to dump 2 Griselbrands, and that's it. I don't need to draw more Griselbrands. This Grizzly Salvage now note cannot flip a Griselbrand into the yard. All right. And yeah, we're going to pass. So they will probably shoot our Flage. So we need to draw a land in order to go off with this Urza's Saga, or go off with the Shifting Woodland. We'll take a bit of a hit from the Flage. Assume they're going to shoot the spawn? Yeah, okay. I was going to say, if they don't shoot the spawn, I will likely block. Although, maybe I wouldn't. Not sure. So they're cycling a Lorien Revealed, get another land. Shock it in. And they are surgicaling our Griselbrands. Alright, well, we can't really do anything about that here, and we don't have a hand that can really reasonably beat this Flage otherwise, so I'm just going to scoop it up before showing them my deck. That change anything that I might want to do? On the play, I'm a little more interested in Buried Alive, although I don't like the pass the turn nature of it that much. I think I'm just going to keep this. Submit. All right, so here we have, okay, Brutality is good. We have a Saga plan. It's a little bit of a slower hand again, but it can develop into something good with Saga, so I'm going to keep it. Probably go turn Timber tapped on 1. Turn 2 Saga Rumble. Brutality is definitely going to be good against any potential surgical. Could play it first here. Ooh, I mean, I don't have the Reanimate lined up yet. I think I'm going to play the Rumble still. They have Snare? Okay, they do. Now, Brutality with discarding the Griselbrand is a little bit awkward against the potential surgical, because it does mean that they can surgical it in response if I discard the Griselbrand. Okay, so we go to our next turn. So I have a Catacombs here. And I can get an Overgrown Tomb. And I'm going to be playing Brutality. Question is, do I discard the Griselbrand to the Brutality? I think I don't. Because I can get the Cookbook next turn. Yeah, I can get the Cookbook next turn. And so this will probably just eat a counterspell. Well, if they untap and play a Teferi and bounce my Saga, this is bad for me. On the other hand, if they have Surgical now, and I go for the discard. I don't really have an avenue forward anyway. So I'm going to actually go for both, I think, because Surgical kind of gets us anyway. They have Force, Dress Down, Obsidian Charmaw. So I have one land that could produce colorless. Charmaw will cost 4. That doesn't really do anything. Dress Down is the key card here. And yeah, given that they don't really have anything else, I think I am going to play this Haywire Might out. We have land, sorcery, creature, so I do actually need another card in the yard, although Saga coming off will put an enchantment in, so I do have the ability to play Woodland. Let's see what they do. Oh, they just top decked the Surgical. Okay, sure. I mean, I guess they did Surveil and kept it on top, but all right. Well, we have Saga, so we are on the Saga plan. It's unfortunate that we can only make one thing, and they have Dress Down, but hopefully that like baits or forces them into. They've kind of paid a lot of life. Hopefully, it forces them into like spending enough mana that, like, then I can find another Saga and then make more constructs or something. Charmaw, definitely something to be mindful of. Not a lot I can do with that yet. They can play it next turn. They played an Archive. So they have Charmaw, Dress Down, Force, Mesa as their 4 remaining cards. So we go to our turn, draw, and I'm going to make a construct in response. I don't know if they're going to Dress Down here, but they will Dress Down at some point. And I can get Map. I can play Shifting Woodland. And then I can play a Haywire Might. And then we're passing the turn after attacking. And okay, so they're Dress Downing here, which I don't really think makes that much sense, but maybe. And it does cycle. And they can Charmaw us here again, but if they Charmaw us here, no, they can't because we don't actually have the colorless land. They have a Teferi. And play Mesa. Tick up. Go to our turn. We do have a Goryo's, but that's not really going to do anything for us. So we can map and go get a Saga. Charmaw will kill Saga. The other option is I get Beseiju. What does that do? Not really anything. I think I still need to play it. Then do I have these hit face? This is not looking great. Have these hit face, or do I think I'm attacking Teferi. If the Teferi bounces now, it'll die at least. They Surveil. They can, again, yeah, they can Charmaw our Saga here. They take up the Teferi. Okay. That's going to happen. Go to our turn. If I draw another land, I can start Woodland copying Saga on... No, that doesn't even work. Well, yeah, we're passing. Not looking good. Very timely top deck Surgical from them, but you know, I mean, sometimes we get lucky and top deck something, so I can't really complain too much. They do hit us down to 15. And they're bouncing the Charmaw, which is interesting. Replaying it? Kill another land. Probably kill the woodland, yeah. Okay. But now if we draw a Saga and we punch the Teferi, there's a chance we are back in this, maybe? Okay. Shouldn't have maybe done that. I'm going to attack and kill Teferi. I think I do need to get this off the board. So I'll trade one of these Haywires for Teferi. It might have another one, but the only card that we know about in their hand is Force Negation. Draw Manamo. Ring? No, 5 mana. Lorien Revealed. Okay. So I have a bunch of cards. We'll get a Surveil here. I'm going down to 13 with the Charmaw. 12 with the Surveil, but we have to take the Surveil to do something or to try to do something. I don't need a forest. Act is pretty bad. Shoal, we can potentially gain 1 life at some point here, but I'd rather try and save it if we pick up a worm. I think there we really did need the Saga to have a chance. I think now it's sort of slipping away. Another Charmaw. Okay. Opponent is really expecting a lot of Eldrazi. Down to 8. Up another Goryo's, that's not going to do it. All right. So I mean, definitely a little bit unfortunate with the surgicals there. I'm not sure how many surgical I'm not sure how many surgicals they're playing. We had the discard, but it just didn't quite line up right. And well, yeah, we keep going. Round number 3. All right, opening hand here contains the quad Griselbrand. Clearly, this is a mulligan. This hand is definitely better. We need a way to get a Griselbrand into the yard. Soul Spike or Shoal goes back, probably Spike. I'm not super excited about this. I think I'm going to keep it. If I find a Saga, it's pretty good. If I find a Buried Alive, I mean, I can cast my 2-drop stuff. Buried Alive is okay. Haywire Might can be a speed bump. Yeah, I'm going to keep. I'm going to send back. Actually, maybe I send back the Shoal for the possibility of Spike Pitch Griselbrand plus another black card I draw. I think I'm actually going to do that. Our opponent did not mulligan. Okay. So we go to our turn number, or our first main. We'll play the Mortuary. I don't need to play this Haywire on turn 1. Shifting Woodland. I think I can bin that. And I have the 2 mana. Really, I just need a way to get the Grizzle into the yard, so it doesn't really help with that. It does help as a land if I find Buried Alive, but I feel like that's more situational than like I draw any of my 2-drops that I, like the mill cards, or I draw a Saga or something like that. Opponent is playing a Swamp. Okay. That makes me want the Shifting Woodland a little bit more. We pick up a Buried Alive. So everything, just max punished for bottoming the Shifting Woodland, but now here, do I play the Haywire Might? I think I do, because I'm not necessarily going to have another chance to play it. Because, like, if my next turn is land Buried Alive, I mean, this is at least something that they have to kill. If they want to play a Necro, maybe. Or are they going to, like, persist back a Troll? If they discard us, I also have the interesting option of pitch Buried Alive Goryo's, Soul Spike them, force them to discard Griselbrand. And then I just have to like top deck a Goryo's. We do pick up a land. Okay. So I could go for the Buried Alive here. And if I go for the Buried Alive... Yeah, I mean, what's my plan otherwise? I feel like this could be like they dump a bunch of life into a Necro. I'm going to attack with the Haywire Might first. It's one fewer card they can draw, or they spend some removal on it. And yeah, like if it is a Necro, I think that's a risk I'm willing to take, because if I don't do this, what is my plan to win? It's past 2 turns. Feels like it's too likely that if they have Necro, then maybe they have like end step removal or something, and then we're just beat. I'm not worried about Kozilek's command out of them, and I don't want to draw more Griselbrands, so I'm going to send 3 Griselbrands to the yard. And we'll see what they do. Okay, they have Bowmasters to kill the Haywire Might. So this might be good in that maybe they're not going to fear the Griselbrand necessarily because they think they have Bowmasters. However, we can win at instant speed, which is pretty powerful, I hear. And the 2 life from the might be relevant as well. Okay, they have another Bowmasters. They're shooting us again, but now, unless they have Thoughtseize, they're going to be dead. Well, probably. Not guaranteed, but it's pretty likely. We're going to get to beat double Bowmasters if everything goes right. That's a fun one. All right, so I am going to Goryo's now because I would like to... Well, they could have Surgical. That would be bad. Okay, they don't. And then I'm going to not play this Overgrown Tomb because I don't want to take the 2 damage from it. And the question is now, do they have like some sort of removal that they're trying for? Looks like no. All right, now here's the part where we get to kill them in response. And they probably think we're like a madman here. All right, so we're going to draw 7 more. Let them stack the triggers. We can spike them. Pitching Griselbrand and Buried Alive. We have Shoal Turn Timber, so that's another 7. Draw some more cards. We pick up another Shoal. We have another spike that we can use here. We'll ditch a Goryo's and a Salvage. Draw some more cards. Only gets to stack so many Bowmasters triggers that don't matter. Then we can spike them again. They haven't seen Shoal. There's no reason to show them Shoal here, so I'll just show them another Goryo's and a Salvage. Question is, do they have Shoal to, or their own Soul Spike to try and hit us? They might. They're marching for 2. Okay. So they're Spike resolves. Now I'm going to shoal a worm. I mean, they can probably have safely assumed that we have shoal worm. And I'll draw some more cards. And we'll find our 4th Soul Spike. I'm definitely not going to show them Endurance unless I absolutely have to. And shoal another worm. $12 left in our deck. So we have one more safe draw here. And do we find the spike? No, so we are going to have to show them Endurance. A little bit unfortunate. What will I reveal to them? I guess a Grizzly Salvage, because they already know about it. And we will put our reshuffle in. Let the Endurance trigger resolve. Draw some more cards. They get more Bowmaster's triggers. They're getting to stack more triggers. And that's a spike. So a Goryo's and a Buried Alive. All right, that was a pretty cool game 1 over what's looking like Necro. Not 100% certain, but probably. I mean, they look to be playing Mono Black, Bowmasters, March, Troll, that stuff. All right. So they're testing Necro out after the Grief ban. How is that looking for them? Well, what do I want? I think I want Map. They're not really going to be reanimating stuff, so I'm not as into Nile Spellbomb. Don't feel like I need Brutality. It could have some sort of like surgical type effect. Could think about Veto. Yeah, I think I don't mind Veto. And maybe some more Haywire Mites. Boseju's probably good too. They're not really going to have like a Blood Moon type effect or something, so. Yeah, Footsteps for speed. Yeah, I don't think Brutality is needed. Needle, Spellbomb. I think I probably want at least a couple more Haywire Mites. Zuran Orb is a little less good if I'm winning at instant speed, and I don't want to flood myself with too many artifacts. Buried Alive, maybe a little bit slower on the draw, but I think I'm likely to get discarded, so I'm not as into this. Utopia Sprawls, I think, are maybe not critical here. We go like this, play it a little bit slower. Yeah, maybe I still want like. Yeah, I think actually Veto's not going to be good. They gain enough life that I'm not so into that. Pact. How do I feel about Pact? Could bring in like 1 as a hedge against some sort of like they soul spike me a bunch in response or whatever. I think I actually do. Maybe in hindsight, the sprawls are not that bad. 3 mites, cookbook map. I cut a land. I could cut another land on the draw. And then maybe I cut. Maybe I cut 1. I don't want to cut Buried Alive. Maybe I cut 1 Rumble. Go like this. I want more of the direct tutoring if possible, because they're not really a counterspell deck. Need to, I mean, their most likely interaction is going to be discard, or it's going to be killing us when we get low with Griselbrand draws. This hand is not really doing anything, so it's a definite mulligan, though. Like triple Haywire Might is pretty bad. This hand also isn't really doing a lot. I think it's another mulligan. This hand is a little bit better. I will keep this. Ship a Soul Spike, ship an Endurance. I go turn 1 Utopia Sprawl, turn 2 Saga, play a Saga game, and then hopefully I get a cookbook, and then if I ever draw a reanimation, then we just get Griselbrand. So that seems fine. Turn 1 discard would be a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world to lose the Sprawl. I'll probably go Tomb Sprawl and take the 2, because I'd like to preserve the ability to scry with this later. And then turn 2 Saga, turn 3 Verdant Scry if I haven't found anything else. And then I can make a construct as well with the Tomb Sprawl. We draw land. Potentially we end up in a situation where they, again, like Thoughtseize us or something, and they have to discard the Grizzle. So we did mull to 5. They are staying at 7. It's a little bit awkward that like Saga Sprawl doesn't quite work how you want it to, because like you'd like to be able to play Saga on 1 and then like play a Sprawl and then like Sprawl, make a construct on 2, like Legacy style with like a Soul Land, but it doesn't quite work because obviously you don't have anything to put the Sprawl on, nor does the Saga make green mana. We pick up a Verdant. So here, I think I'm actually going to fetch a Forest then to just preserve a little bit of life. And again, if they Thoughtseize us, now they have to take Griselbrand, which is cool. Name black with the Sprawl. We have like pretty even mana, so. I mean, the Tomb is either, Verdant's going to be either with a Surveil. And they cycle a Troll to pick up another Swamp. Second Swamp. And they're Thoughtseizing us and they have to take the Griselbrand. Perfect. Just like we drew it up. Now, if they have a Surgical, I'm a little bit sad, but we don't really have that much ability to play around that right now anyway. Shoal, not what we need. No, we can't actually cast this Shoal for 1, but I'm just going to hold back and not play it anyway. We're just going to make some construct tokens. And they could have a Necro here, which would be kind of bad. They have a Douthie, okay. It's fine. We pick up a Goryo's, okay. So we're just kind of hitting everything we possibly need. So the Saga triggers. We're going to play a land. Now I'm thinking, is there benefit to passing or is there benefit to going for it now? So if we go for it now, we do get them if they don't specifically have Surgical. And we also get the extra life on the Goryo's to make us more likely to reliably combo here. The Douthie also has Summoning Sickness, so that can't really be used to mess with us. I think I'm likely to go for it here. If they were going to Surgical, they should have done it as soon as they discarded the Gristle. So I'm going to bet that they don't have it. Okay. We can attack. And I'm going to start drawing. I don't need to really fetch with this Verdant, because what am I going to do with the... there's like nothing I really need to do with the mana. We're just sort of set up to operate off of no mana right now. And they scoop it up. All right, so pretty nice win over Necro. Nice and easy, and we got a little bit lucky with the top deck there. It happens. The Thoughtseize being forced to take the Gristle was kind of funny. If they had waited a turn, you know, they didn't like play the Douthie, but maybe they top decked the Douthie on 3. Unless they thought they had to discard us to stop us, because if they play the Douthie on 2 before we have the Grizzle in the yard, how are we getting the Grizzle in the yard? I think they top decked the Douthie on 3. All right, match number 4 coming up in a second. Okay, so we are on the draw. We have a Shoal Worm. We have a Griselbrand in hand with a Saga to get it into the yard. And we have 2 Rumbles here, which can hopefully be used to find a Shifting Woodland to reanimate our Griselbrand. So I like this. It's a little bit on the slower side. It's not like one of those blazing fast hands, but Shoal Worm will help us buy time if it's something aggressive, maybe. Opponent is looking like they are on Amulet. So maybe we don't have time. They pick up a Forest. Go to our turn. Got the Verdant, and now we're just going to be passing. And this could be a turn 3 if the Rumble hits a... No, I'd have to have played the Saga. Actually, should I have played the Saga for that reason? I think yes. If the Rumble hits a Shifting Woodland, it could have been a turn 3 maybe. But again, I would have had to play the Saga so that this is coming off and getting a cookbook. Ooh, Aftermarket Analyst. So it is not Amulet. A Forest, and they have another Grazer. So it's going to be that, like, well, is this Amulet just with Analyst? I'm assuming this is like some sort of like Scape Shifty combo deck. They have so many lands in play. They only have 2 cards in their hand, though, so they need to find some business. They can bounce back T-West, but they need another blue before they can transmute that. So we'll get Mortuary. Do I want a Verdant? No, I'm assuming I'm going to find another land. I need to find Shifting. Okay, so we do find Shifting. So here I can play Shifting and then hold up Salvage. And then hopefully... Oh no, that was bad. That was very bad. I needed to have the Saga going to win on turn 4. Now basically I need to rely on binning a Griselbrand, which means I need to Rumble here so that I have the 4th mana next turn. Yeah, that was a little bit of a punt. Okay, so we don't hit. We do get a Utopia Sprawl, which is not exactly great. I'm gonna go to our opponent's turn. Yeah, I definitely needed to play the Saga there. Mistake. They have a Valakut. So if they miscount the Valakut damage, I potentially get to blow them out with Shoal Worm, which is kind of cool. We draw another Griselbrand. Not good. Grizzly Salvage would have actually hit the Griselbrand last turn. But again, we wouldn't have been able to play it this turn, so maybe not that good. Okay, so Shifting Woodland Sprawl on the Mortuary is kind of free. We can name green. Now, if I make a black, well, if I make a, yeah, I guess we're just holding up Salvage at this point and being sad about our choices. Unless, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're to Salvage Shift. No, I could, because I can Rumble Shifting next turn, so it doesn't really matter the order. They're probably going to go for Analyst on the end step here, I would guess. They only get back a Handwear and a Simic Growth, so like, what are they going to do with that? I don't know. So it's Amulet, it looks like, but they just maybe don't have the Amulet. Pick up the T-West, yeah. And they need to like transmute it for a Pact. So they have the mana to play a Titan, but it's not that scary of a Titan yet. Okay, they just have the Pact in hand. They get a Titan. Shifting Woodland. They do have haste for it also. They don't have the Valakut triggers or anything yet. Yeah, I could have been winning this next turn with the Saga ticking up, so if we lose this, this is 100% on me. That's a punt. I pick up an Otawara. Interesting. And they're going to haste the Titan, sure. And get 2 more lands. Not worth blocking because that's trample, so it's not like it's going to save that much life. They're probably not really going to be able to do anything this turn, so we're kind of... I'm not going to say fully all in, but pretty all in on hitting another Griselbrand off of one of these two. So here, I'll add a black with black-green, and we go for a Grizzly Salvage. Can pick up a Forest or Verdant. Forest, wait, Verdant, we still have Swamp in the deck. So Verdant would thin me 1 card. Is the life going to matter? That takes me to 12. I think the 1 card is going to be more relevant than the 1 life. We go to our turn. Saga ticks up. We pick up the Swamp, so we get punished for that. So now we basically have to hit off of this Rumble. I'm going to fetch first. So now 3 life potentially could matter, but I just want to thin as much as I can in order to potentially find a Griselbrand. But we don't. We do find a cookbook though, and that is that good enough? No, I'm 1 mana short. Oh, that's very annoying. Oh no, I'm not. I'm good. So it's cookbook. It makes the spawn. All right. So we discard a Griselbrand, making a food. We shifting Woodland, copying the Griselbrand. And we copy, yeah, we copy our Griselbrand. All right. Now I've got to draw 7. We're gonna have to do a little bit of work here. We do have Shoal Worm. That's the start. 2 spikes are already in the yard. Another Griselbrand draw. We also have 2 shoals in the yard, so something to be mindful of. We do pick up another shoal there, which was huge. We get to shoal another worm. Draw 7 more. We have an endurance already, so that's important as well. We're down to 12, but okay, so we don't draw more light. Oh, we do draw a spike, so let me spike them. Ditch Buried Alive and Buried Alive. We'll draw 7 more. And we have another Shoal Worm. Got a spike. Get rid of Buried Alive and a Grizzly Salvage. Now we are going to Endurance, getting rid of the Utopia Sprawl. Put the Reshuffle in, and the Evoke. Keep drawing cards, and we're in pretty good shape. So that puts us down to 7 cards. Let's see, have we found all of the spikes yet? That's 1. Get rid of a Goryo's and a Salvage. I don't know if we showed them Goryo's yet, did we? No, we didn't. Oh wait, no, they definitely saw it in the yard though. Spike them again. Get rid of Buried Alive and another Griselbrand. And then we spike them one more time. Get rid of 2 more Goryo's. Alright, so despite nearly throwing the game, we do end up getting there against Titan in game 1. Aftermarket Analyst is interesting in their deck. I feel like I haven't seen that before, but it seems reasonable. I don't know if that's like current Titan state of the art. I don't think it is, but maybe they're just experimenting because again, Grief Ban just happened yesterday. Alright, so we're up our game against Titan. We are like generally pretty advantaged in this matchup. Boseiju against bounce lands, definitely something we want. We're a little worried about stuff like Bajuka Bog, so Buried Alive gets a little bit worse. Footsteps for speed we do want. They don't damage themselves, so Veto isn't really where we want to be. Collective Brutality doesn't really kill anything relevant. Map is potentially a bit slow. Needle. We could Needle like an Odawara, but am I even really scared about Odawara? No. We can Needle T-West. That's also not that good. We can Needle Hanweir, but again, I don't know that we really need that. Could slow them down, maybe. I'll think about it. Cut a land if we're playing the Boseiju. Probably another Might or 2, especially since they're a Saga deck and likely have some sort of Grave Hate Saga target. I'll cut the Zurin Orb because we're adding more Saga targets, so I don't want to overload on Saga targets. Cut 1 Buried Alive for being a little bit slow. Cut maybe 1 Rumble? No, I don't know if I want to cut a Rumble. They can hit our Utopia Sprawls with like their own Boseiju, but not if I put it on... Oh, wait, is this... Yeah. Okay, so not if I put it on a basic, so I need to be careful to put the Utopia Sprawls on basics. Maybe 3 Might is good enough. Are they likely to have like multiple pieces of... Actually, no, it's also hate for like proactive hate that takes out Amulet, so I do want it. So maybe I just cut like 1 Rumble, 1 Sprawl, and we go like this. Okay, so we've got Shoal Worm, we've got a Goryo's. We only have 1 land. The Soul Spike's kind of useless. The second Shoal is very useless. This is like pretty close to being a very good hand, but it's a little bit iffy too. Like I need to draw another land. Is it worth the risk? So we have how many lands did we cut? We cut 1 land, I think, right? Yeah. So we keep, what is it, 18 or 19 lands plus 1 duel, so it's either 19 or 20 lands. I mean, this hand is not guaranteed to win, even if we do hit the land, though, because we're kind of all in on this Rumble. So I'm going to mulligan. Has a high enough chance that hand doesn't even play Magic, and then if it does, it's not guaranteed to win. This hand is very similar to the last hand. I think it's slightly better because we have 2 Grizzly Salvages. So I'm going to ditch the Soul Spike, and then maybe try and actively or like proactively haywire their amulets until I can find a second land. Shoal is not what we need. We'll play Haywire. We'll see what they do. They've got a Grazer. Simic Growth, pick up the shifting. So they maybe have a no amulet hand. Our turn 2. We have Shoal Worm. I'm just going to pass because I need to hold this Haywire activation up in case they play an amulet and try and do stuff with it right away. So it's not worth trying to play out the second Haywire there. They rumble. Spelunking, Simic Growth, Echoing Deep, Cultivator, Colossus. None of these are that scary. I guess maybe the take another Simic Growth. Yeah. And just like continue ramping naturally. We really need another land here. Okay, that is a land, so that's good. So now I'm going to hold up Haywire, but I also have the ability to salvage on end step if they don't do something that I have to Haywire. And I have Shoal Worm, which is also nice. So what are they playing? They're playing a Dryad, okay. Shifting Woodland, and then they get a second land, yeah. Probably bouncing back the Woodland, I would imagine. And it's just a, is it a pass? Oh, okay. So here, I'm going to go for a salvage on end step. And we do hit. And I'm going to take the endurance, I think. In case they have some sort of way, like maybe they have surgical or something. So I'd rather not get my Griselbrand surgical. Also, it just removes the risk of like dying to Griselbrand being on the bottom of, or the other endurance being on the bottom of our deck. Draw for turn, it's a rumble. Not really what we need. But here, we're going to go for the Gorios because I don't think Titan is playing surgical. Oh, they have endurance, right? Duh. All right. Well, it happens. I wasn't even thinking about that. That was a little bit stupid. All right. Well, we made them have it. What did they pitch to that? They pitched a Titan. Okay. So maybe they don't have anything else to do with their mana, and we do have more digging. We have Woodland, so maybe we play a longer game. They have Pact. Okay, so they're going to Pact for Titan here and play the Titan. Shifting Woodland. Interesting. I guess they top decked that because otherwise they wouldn't pitch the Titan to the Endurance. They would have pitched the Pact. Yeah, I could have absolutely avoided this. I'm slipping it a little bit. Deck is powerful. They pick up Valakut and a Boseiju. Sure. Shoot our Might, and then they shoot us. So we can eat the Valak or the Dryad, so that's good. If we need to, but we're probably going to need to. Just a 15. But our turn. Land is probably the draw we need. Okay. So land means that we can rumble, might, crack, might, eat Dryad. I think that's just our best line. We do find a Saga. We also find Verdant. I'm gonna... We know we have a Griselbrand on the bottom, so I'm gonna take the Verdant, actually. And I'm just gonna eat the Dryad now. It's non-creature. I'm just... Yeah, alright. Well, not a lot else we can do about that. We can maybe Shoal Pitch Worm and live. They do have to pay some mana. This is something that they have to block with. And they can't play an Amulet pre-combat, because then we'll just get to eat it. Unless, I mean, if they have a land in hand, I guess they could go land, shoot the Haywire, then play Amulet, but... We do have, I mean, we have the 4 shiftings if somehow we, so I get 2 more lands. That's going to represent what? This copy's Valakut, and this is 4 more Valakut triggers and a bounce, and then they get some more Valakut triggers on top of that. So let me count all of this. I guess it doesn't really matter. We're just going to let it happen. See what they bounce. They have 2 land drops, so that's going to represent, so 2 land drops represents 12 more damage. So they're shooting us. No, 2 land drops represents 24 more damage. So if I can block here, gain 2 to 5, shoal to 20, Titan hits us down to 14, play the bounce land twice. No, they return the Beseiju, they didn't return a bounce land. They play the Beseiju, they hit us down to 2. There's like a world where we live. They know what's in our deck already, so I'm gonna shoal worm. I guess there's a world where we go down to 1. We draw a Goryo's. Okay, no, they do just have 2 lands. All right. Oh no, it's only 2 though. No, so we do live, I think. Let's have another card that does something. Then they should have bounced the bounce land though. Okay, the ring. Ooh, that's bad. I have the Beseiju, but they don't actually have. Oh, they just drew another Saga. So now we're at 2 and they have ring protection. So that's gonna do it. Yeah, if they didn't have the ring there, or if they didn't hit us down to 2, we get to try. All right. Definitely a bit of a misplay, but would we have won that without the misplay? All right, it's not worth thinking about right now. Game to play. On the play, I'm a little bit more interested in speed, sprawl, buried alive. A little bit more interested in pact against endurance, perhaps. Maybe I'd trim a haywire. Maybe I even trim a couple haywire because we're on the play. We're probably faster in a pure race, especially where we're on the play. Trim a rumble. Maybe we trim like 1 endurance and 1. Well, I don't know if I want to trim the land. Maybe it's honestly another haywire. Yeah, okay, maybe we go like this. Just try and race. What does this do? This hand dumps a Griselbrand into the yard. Has shoal worm, no way to get it out. Alright, so that's a mulligan. This hand has Sprawl, turn 2 Buried Alive, turn 3 Goryo's. This is a lovely keep. Alright, so we pitch a shoal. Go to our first main. It's a Verdant. Get a basic forest. Play a Utopia Sprawl on said forest, naming black. I could have gotten the Shockland, and then so turn 2, the Buried Alive is almost certainly happening. I don't know how they would stop that. But then if they have a Beseiju and they blow up the Sprawl, but then I can get the Swamp, so it's okay. You have Hanweir. Is it Hanweir Amulet? No, it's just Hanweir. Okay. We pick up a Shifting Woodland. And just like we drew it up, we have a Buried Alive here. All right, so I'm going to dump Griselbrand. Only one Griselbrand. In case, well, again, they could have endurance. I'd like to thin for endurance. I don't need the Haywire Mite. I'm going to dump one worm as well, actually. Just to get something thinned out for a chance at drawing Pact. They go for Saga. Go to our turn. Pick up a Grizzly Salvage. So we could go for the Gorios here. Do get a little bit blown out if they have a endurance. So I could Rumble, go for the Gorios. Continue developing my board. I have the Shifting Woodland in play, so they'd have to have the endurance, and then this gives me a way of getting another Griselbrand back into the yard. I think that's better than waiting for Pact or waiting for more mana. So if I Rumble here, I can get an Overgrown Tomb. Okay, that's okay. Play that as land for turn. Would not like to pay 2 life. I should have not played that yet. And do you have the endurance? They have the salvage if they do. They do. Okay. Ditch a Titan. I have a more developed mana base overall this time, though. So I kind of suspected they did because their hand is like super slow. Saga ticks up. Yeah, I mean, all right. Go to our turn. Pick up a Saga. Okay, good. I'm definitely playing that. Question is, am I salvaging here? I don't think there's really any benefit to salvaging yet. Because what am I looking for that I can play right away? A land? No. A creature? No. I could hit my own endurance maybe, but that seems unlikely. They make a construct, that's fine. Let's see here whether they make another construct or whether they pass. It's scarier if they don't make the construct, but they do. And they get probably an amulet. They could get graveyard hate. Okay, they get the amulet. Bounce land. They could like put a Titan in here and we could be taking a chunk of damage. Okay, but they don't. They hit us 3 down to 16. We're under a little bit of pressure to do something next turn. Oh, that was I'd click through the turn. I did not mean to do that. Draw for turn. What do they have? They have Boseiju on our Urza Saga, so I'll float a mana. Use the ability. Get a Mortuary. Don't need another Woodland. I could Woodland copy, but I don't think that's that good. Well, yeah, I'll go to draw. Pick up another Saga. So we're kind of in the same spot as last turn, but worse. We're just passing again, and let's make sure to not skip our end step. Or not skip their end step. So we're going to hit us for 6 down to 10. We're going to go for salvage. We can find a Haywire Mite. The rest of that is not cards we need, really. Haywire Mite does block sack by us a little bit at times. So that's kind of interesting. So that makes that... So I can play Mite. I can block sack, make a construct of my own, pass. Yeah, I mean, maybe we're doing it. If I have to, I can eat the amulet. Oh, it's non-creature though. I guess it's block, eat that. Yeah, it's just block, eat the amulet. Maybe I should have done that. No, but well, they're playing another Ghoul Turf. So if they play the Titan here, if I eat the amulet first, they wouldn't be able to play Titan. But if they play Titan, then I get to eat the amulet. 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have Spike here. I'm going to be taking a bit of a hit. Play Titan. Okay, so here I have to eat the amulet. Gain 2 life. Make the Titan, but they don't get untapped lands. They played a land for turn already, so they can't like bounce and then replay this Henweir and do anything with it. Even if they had that, I guess if they had their land drop, they could get bounce land, and if they were playing Crumbling Vestige, bounce the Henweir, replay it, and attack that way. But doesn't look like that's really an option. Sagas are 2, or the constructs are 2/2 now, which is nice. They could have another endurance, which would be a little bit unfortunate. Can't really play around that at this point, though. So I'm going to make a construct and block here, actually, because I think if we pass the turn again, we're just dead. They're going to transmute to another, they're going to transmute to another pact. Actually, they can't. Well, here they're paying 4 for a pact anyway. But then they're going to have another endurance, and we're just in trouble. So I'm going to just preserve the life here in case the life ends up mattering, because I'm not going to win with constructs of my own. Go to our turn, draw for turn. Worm is certainly a card that you can draw. We'll get Cookbook. Dump the Grizzle. We'll ask them the important question of, do they have another endurance? Looks like they don't. We do have a couple spikes in the yard, so we are going to need to loop with endurance ourselves. Did we board out endurance? We did, so something to be mindful of. We could get into a little bit of trouble there. Got Shoal Pitch Worm. We are still looking for that endurance. This is also a reason to potentially stop early if things look like they have gone a little bit weird. Actually, I could save spikes and potentially spike the Titan if that becomes necessary. And we are actually at a very awkward deck size here, because we do not have... And we do miss. Okay. So, a couple things to think about here. One is, what land do we want to play? Because we can't draw another. I can double spike the Titan. That's definitely something I'm going to do. We'll get rid of some Buried Alives. Get rid of, I guess, a Grizzly Salvage and a Griselbrand, sure. Then we play a Shifting Woodland. Then we Besage our opponent's Simic Growth. We should have Utopia Sprawled first, but it's not a huge deal. Here I'll Utopia Sprawl again. We can name green. And then we are going to clean up. Don't need this. I'll keep a Goryo's. I'll keep a Footsteps. All right, so we've kept some more reanimation. Opponent has to pay 2 green or lose the game. They've got 2 mana, 2 constructs, and we've got a pretty good next turn, it looks like. Oh, actually, it's not that good of a next turn because we do only hit them down to 6. So we do still have to sort of live one more turn. Unless we draw the Endurance. We don't. I can Grizzly Salvage, but then that dumps the Endurance. Oh no, but then I just get the Endurance. Okay, so that's fine. That's what we'll do. So I'm going to Goryo's Vengeance back my Griselbrand. I can hard cast the Endurance after this. And then I'm going to Grizzly Salvage, get my Endurance. Then I'm going to Endurance hard cast myself. And they scoop it up. All right, so that was a pretty tight match against Titan. Well, not tight as in close, not tight as in like super tight play. Again, a couple mistakes there, but we did get there in the end, and that is what counts. All right, so match 5, we're 3-1. Can we end it on 4-1? Okay, so round number 5, we're on the play. We have a hand here that doesn't really do it. I mean, maybe if we have the second land and we could Grizzly Salvage and have these Goryos, I'd be a little more interested. But the Soul Spikes, as is, kind of don't do anything. The Haywire Might is probably not going to do anything. So that is definitely a mulligan. This hand, we do have a Goryos. We don't have any way to get a Griselbrand into our yard in the conceivable future. I do have Saga. I think I actually am going to keep this, ship a Shoal, and be on the Saga plan / the second I draw a Griselbrand, like I can get Cookbook with the Saga, or if I draw some of my looting things, I can get there, or Buried Alive is good draw. So I think we have enough good draws here that I'm willing to take the risk on this one. So I'm going to Sprawl the Tomb. And I guess I will name... Not likely to need extra black, might need extra green, so I'll name green. We've got Saga play Haywire Might next turn. They have Grazer, so it's Amulet again, it looks like. What's this? Maybe it's not Amulet. This might be like the scape, some sort of like scape shift looping thing. Malevolent Rumble, that's a pretty good pickup. So I'm going to go Rumble and take the Overgrown Tomb. And had I made black, we would have actually had the turn 2 here. But yeah, maybe I should have for that option alone. Yeah, I went a little too fast there. But we'll play the Haywire Might. I think we're in pretty good shape. But maybe they turn to us themselves. No, killing a land is not good enough because we do just have the tomb, so. They explore, so they've got 2 land drops available. Maybe the Haywire Might is scaring them a little bit. Rot Farm. Okay. Then they play the Forest and pass. Okay. All right, so we're going to go to our turn. You pick up another Goryos, which is nice. Now I'm going to play this first in case they have like a main deck Endurance. And In that case, I'm going to want a Goryo's and then respond with a Goryo's. Okay. They don't. So we attack. Gain some life. Should have actually attacked with the Haywire Might, but it doesn't matter. The life total multiples just mean that it's the same amount of soul spikes anyway. Got Shoal, Pitch Worm. We do have an Endurance in our hand, so that's good. Do need a little bit more life gain. There we go. That's a Shoal. $13 cards left in the deck. And start soul spiking them. Ditch like Buried Alives. Not going to show them the Zurin Orb unless there's a good reason to. Ditch Agorios, Grizzly Salvage. We have one more draw that we can do here. We pick up another Soul Spike. Buried Alive and Griselbrand can go. Do we have another Shoal? We do. Okay. So we hit the Worm here. We do have one Endurance in hand. I've thought about putting a Pact in over maybe the second Endurance. The trade-off is that sometimes you can use it to Pact for a Worm during combo, but the downside is that you have one less Endurance to just like hardcast Endurances if you need to. So there's definitely pluses and minuses, and I'm not actually sure which one is right. If you have an opinion on that, I would be interested in hearing it. Basically what I'm saying is Summoner's Pact over the second Endurance as a possibility. All right, so we draw a little bit more. We find more Shoals. Draw a little bit more, where there's 10 cards left in the deck. We hit some more spikes. Spike them, pitching Grizzle and Agorios. And then we can Shoal, pitch a Worm, because why not? And then we need to spike them again. Get rid of a Grizzle and another Goryo's. All right, so we win game one here against, I'm assuming it's not actually Amulet. I think it's like some sort of Scapeshift type of thing. But that one damage might also be to like beat Ring. It's like you could, no, but they don't have instant speed ways to put lands in anymore. I'm not entirely sure what that's about. So do I expect, I probably should expect Endurance from them. Zurin Orb maybe feels a little bit less critical. Footsteps seems good. Brutality, I think not as much. I don't think they're going to damage themselves much for Veto. I do expect maybe some random hate, so we'll bring in the Boseiju, swap it for the Misty. Spellbomb. I mean, if they're playing like an aftermarket analyst type thing or looping, that could be good. I'm not 100% sure of that yet. So don't think I'm going to worry about that yet. On the draw, maybe I'm going to cut like a Rumble. Our opponent says cool. They like our deck, it seems. Maybe 2 Rumble and 1 Sprawl. We try this. Yeah, I could board harder in other directions depending on what they're actually doing, but given that I'm not 100% sure, I'm just going to kind of go like this. This hand would be great if one of these sagas was a land that made green, but because it's not, I don't really think we can keep this. I mean, it does have both the pieces. It's got a Haywire Might for hate. It's got some ramp with sprawls. This would be excellent if only one of these made green mana. Is there any way I can risk this? I think it's just too risky. No, I think I mull that. This is better. It's slow, but it's pretty good. So turn 1, we could get a Surveil land. I'm going to ship the Swamp. Turn 1, Surveil land. Turn 2, start playing digging cards. Actually, turn 2, it's specifically going to be play Rumble. Even though it sees one fewer card, it does open the possibility of shifting on 3. They have Echoing Deep Amulet, so they are actual Amulet. So that damage land is a bit of a strange choice, I think. But maybe I just don't know what Amulet's up to. That's the more likely option. So we'll pass, and we'll get a Surveil. Depending on what we draw, maybe we do change, and we like if we draw Goryo's, then we Grizzly instead for a slightly higher chance at hitting a Griselbrand, but got the Crumbling Vestige. So this could be a Dryad. Green, 2 colorless. Looks like maybe a Dryad, unless this is, oh, it's an Explorer. Okay. And they could still be the scape shifty type thing with Amulet, but bouncing the Crumbling, sure. Now it's Grazer. All right, they get to keep going. Mirror Pool, sure. So this is definitely looking more and more like Amulet. Trinisphere, that's a little bit crazy. Good thing we have Haywire Mites, but we need to actually find one. Okay, so that goes in the yard. So that's something good that has happened. Trinisphere, I mean, sure. All right. We'll play a tap tomb. We can't do anything with 2 mana. And then it's going to be, we need to start digging for one of our Haywire Mites. We go like Woodland Salvage or Woodland Rumble. Could also find our Boseiju. That would be a decent thing. They find the ring. So we need to, whatever we're stringing together, it needs to be kind of fast. Otherwise, they're going to bury us in the card advantage from this ring. Casted Wolf Run. Okay. So I think it's because I can't play the land this turn. So is it Rumble? I think it might actually be Rumble, because then if I miss, then next turn I have 5 mana to salvage and then potentially like use a Boseiju or something on end step. Do miss. I'll take a Verdant because that's better than a Utopia Sprawl at this point, I think. Hopefully they just don't have that much follow-up, but I think we're probably losing this game to this Trinisphere. And we're definitely going to be bringing in the other Haywire Mites. I don't know if Trinisphere and Titan is a normal thing or not, but maybe. Can't really play more Amulets so easily. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 available mana. They're just drawing so many cards, though. The next turn, it's probably Verdant, pass, end step, fetch, swamp. Well, no, because if I find the Haywire Mite, I'm going to need to... Oh, Lotus Field. Okay, so this is like the scape shifty thing, unless it's Titan with Lotus Field. Assume they're sacking the Deeps and the Kessig. Some weird variant of Titan. Seven mana. Cultivator? Titan? What is it? It is Titan. So we're probably dead here to the Mirror Pool. Because they can make a second Titan, even though they only have 1 Amulet. All right, we will be on the play for game 3 at least, so that is good. Get another Lotus Field and a Crumbling Vestige. Oh, are they playing like Maybe they're playing the aftermarket analyst for this reason. Someone must have like done well with this, and now everyone's testing it. They make another Titan. Okay, yeah, so it's another Titan, but now they can't haste two things. So I guess we're not outright dead this turn, but what could we even draw? It's Bog, Panweir. Okay. I mean, yeah. Bog is certainly bad. We lose a shoal, but that doesn't really matter that much. I guess they're sacking Vestige Bog. I'm going to just see what they get with their searches. Oh, they only have the one haste. Okay. We're going to be at 13. Like Prison Titan. I guess it's just Titan playing Transphere. Maybe that's an anti-Storm measure, because Storm is an atrocious matchup for them. Where is this cave? This is really something. And I'm trying to think if we have any out at all. Even drawing Boseiju is not good enough anymore. I think we just have 0 outs, but I'll see what we draw. Haywire blowing up Trinisphere is not good enough. We're certainly just dead. Oh yeah, they're the Kessig. Yeah, that's not going to do it. So let's pick it up. All right. So we want Haywire Might. Haywire Might is here. Pithing Needle, no. Nile, no. Sarin Orb, no. Rumbles, maybe. How concerned do I think I need to be about endurance? Probably still respect it a little bit, but alright, I have 5 cuts here. We do want speed. Do we cut in endurance of our own? Yeah, that might be a risk we take. The odds of it being on the bottom are pretty low. Maybe we try and play like a slower, a little bit more control-y game. So we cut like a Sprawl. Maybe we do cut like 1 Rumble. We cut the Footsteps. Maybe we cut the Footsteps. And then we cut like 1 more Rumble. The Rumble, yeah, okay, maybe we try this. I feel about Triple Saga. I mean, it's kind of interesting. We have Sprawl, Saga, but then we're just on a Saga plan, but then we're trying to play things that are just going to eat their amulets or eat their... Honestly, maybe, because we can just keep getting Haywire Mites. I'm actually going to keep this. This feels a little bit crazy, but I think it could win. Like, if we play like a control game and just blow up all the things that matter with Haywire Mites, and meanwhile they're sitting on like Endurance and then like Trinisphere, this hand doesn't care about Trinisphere at all. So we lead on Tomb. And I'm going to Sprawl because I think the second green... Or I'm going to get green because I think the second green is probably more important. And then, yeah, it's Saga. And we're just playing a bunch of Sagas. They could potentially be a little bit too fast. They have like a fast Amulet hand, but you can't beat everything. And they lead on tap land, so that's kind of nice. Verdant, okay. So we get the Saga going. So we need them to basically not have turn 3 Titan, and then I think we're in okay shape. Then we can start blowing things up. Mycosynth Garden, that's bad. That's very bad. It's one of the things we want to see least. Vexing Bauble. That's okay. That doesn't matter if they're on if they're on a saga plan. Or if because we're on a saga plan. Like, so sure, we don't have soul spikes, we don't have shoals, but you know, we're gonna try and win with sagas. Not playing anything else there yet. Okay. Do pick up the shoal, which is not so relevant right now. Another saga here means that, so this turn I use saga, untap, use saga, that saga 6 ticks up to 2. So I'm not going to get the full use out of that saga. I'm going to play the Verdant. And we're going to fetch a Surveil land. And hopefully they don't have like Amulet Garden's copy here. And as long as they don't, I feel like I'm in okay shape. Niv Explore. That's okay. I mean, they could just have like ramp up and play Titan, but I don't really see the evidence for it yet. We'll get the Surveil land with this Verdant. Potentially, we get to the point where we hard cast Soul Spike as well, which might be funny. And they're thinking about something. They draw their card. They have a Port of Carfell. Okay. And they're playing their Boseiju, so that's probably what they were thinking about. They have 4 mana. And we'll get our Surveil. And do I want a Shifting Woodland? Actually, I think I kind of do. Because it is a way to get to my graveyard. And here I'm going to make another construct. And we're going to get a Haywire Might. We're going to play another Saga. And then we get to attack. Might is some nice anti-amulet stuff. I'm not going to blow up this bauble. They're maybe hoping to bin a creature and then they can like Port of Carfell it. They're going for the Rumble. Okay. But do they hit a Titan? This feels a little bit like pretty unlikely. But I mean, we're playing a bunch of mill cards to try and hit Griselbrands, so you know, that's how it goes. We are playing more, but I wonder if they have any good hits other than specifically Titan. I'm not sure. They're thinking a little bit. If this was... Okay, so they don't really hit anything that relevant. They have Asymmetric Growth picking up the Boseiju, it looks like. Probably going to use that on our Saga. Okay. We will go get something. I guess an Overgrown Tomb. And I don't see a reason to blow up the bauble right now. I mean, it does let me shoal, but do I need to shoal? No. I have a Verdant. That's not exactly good. We're going to attack with everything. Put them to 10. Play another Saga. And we're just going to pass. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, so we are getting closer to hard casting the Soul Spike. Not getting any closer to casting the worm. Also, we don't have white mana. Could just naturally shoal for 3 on the end step here. I might, depending on what they do. It's looking like a Titan. Oh, it's a Lerma Belt. What does this even do? Enters mill 4 cards. Okay, so it's huge. It's just huge. Doesn't have trample, though. Just get some more lands back. They get a Bog. They get a Boseiju. They have to bounce a couple lands. Presumably they'll bounce the Boseiju. I can eat the Saga. I'm going to let them bounce it if they want, though. I'd rather save it to get rid of a hate permanent. So they're bogging us. I don't care about that. I think I'm not going to use the shoal here. They have their Lerma in play. Go to our turn. Up another Soul Spike. That's a pretty terrible draw. Play a Shifting Woodland. And I'm just going to pass. I don't see a reason to like run one of these constructs into a Lerma. Just let them attack with it. Now it's just large, so I can like chump it if I need to. Probably won't chump it unless it's like going to threaten a really serious amount of damage. I could think about eating this with the Haywire. It does represent blockers going up the ground. I think I do actually eat this here. Yeah, I don't want to let them like have blockers really. It does shrink my constructs, which I don't like, but I can take a hit from this Lerma and still probably be okay. Was it? It's not Lerma, it's Lumra? Oh, Lumra. Alright. Well, whatever it is. Some sort of new card. Because Amulet plays the new big green cards, and then everyone's like, hey, wait, that card isn't actually that good, and then they stop playing it. I don't know if this one is actually true for that or not, but like the Amulet pattern is to like play the new overcosted green thing because they can, and then stop playing it in like a couple weeks. Maybe this one will be different, who knows. Sometimes they stick. Cultivator Colossus has stuck. I think that's the only one that has stuck. Roxanne, everyone was playing a minute ago, but not anymore. They're besiegeing our Shifting Woodland. I maybe shouldn't have played that. I could copy the Haywire Might, but if I do that, I can't make a construct. I think I'm just going to let that happen. I guess I could have made it into a Haywire Might to gain 2 more life. Maybe. Shifting, Woodlanding, copying, and Amulet of Vigor. Alright. That's going to happen. Not liking our position that much anymore. I was liking it a little more a little while ago, but now I'm a bit concerned. Map. Okay, they're not doing anything with it yet, really, though. And they're shrinking their Lumra. They go get a bounce land here, though, but then they have 6. Do they have the Titan? They get Lotus Field. And it's more than 6. So they're gonna, I guess, maybe go. Are they gonna go? Yeah, they're gonna go for the Port of Carfell. No, they're not. They're just making green. So I guess they just have the Titan. Can't be a pact because obviously Bauble. They sack the field. Oh, they have another Lumra. That's bad. Actually, not that bad. They just have to shrink down more on lands. Kept the old Lumra. They can make a pretty big Kessig Wolf run, I guess. Alright, I mean, it's going to make a bunch of mana. And, yeah, I mean, this is not looking good for us. I think we're probably dead here. I didn't actually count it, but I don't like our chances. They're going to go for, I guess, the port. Oh, and then they get to loop the Lumra. Oh, it's just infinite. Yeah, it's just infinite. All right, so they hit our Besaju. So I actually needed to not use my Haywire Might. I think I punted this. I guess, but what are the chances that they have, like, another Lumra? I don't know. Maybe not that high. They crack this. They bring back the Lumra. They cracked it. No, I can't really ever. They're gonna make a bunch of mana. All right, I'm gonna let them do their thing, and we'll come back in a second where we probably are gonna finish up 3-2. Okay, so yeah, we are in fact dead, good overall, and we end up 3. I think the Utopia Sprawls are a good addition, and I think it does sort of enable Buried Alive a little bit more, so I do like that. What don't I like? The sideboard felt a little bit clunky with what I had to board out. I would Veto, I didn't really get a chance to try. I'm not exactly sure what else I'd want to swap in. I feel like I definitely could have won that last round with some slightly different play. Maybe I mulligan that hand in game 3. Thought it seemed reasonable when I thought they were more amulet based, but they're like a full combo list. So I mean, but I'm certainly not aware of that deck if it's a real deck. So, you know, sometimes rogue decks get percentage points by being a rogue deck, like I'm sure we do by playing this. And in fact, I think we probably did in this very league against the mono black player, perhaps. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna play more of this. I might go right back to this, but I have some different versions that I'm kind of thinking about and working on. Actually, what led to this was a Jund version. So let me just show you guys that real quick. I was thinking about using Strike It Rich to try to power out a Buried Alive on turn 2 in a way that doesn't rely on creature removal. Then you get to like play Fable and stuff. Maybe bin Griselbrands that way. This is not a finalized list or anything. Ox is also kind of interesting with Buried Alive. But then I was like, wait, Utopia Sprawl just kind of does the same thing as Strike It Rich, but better. So then I went back to black-green. The other thing I want to try at some point, which is not, again, this is not a finished list, this is not a tuned list, and I'm going to mess around with it a little bit more, is Founding the Third Path. Because Founding the Third Path, you know, you get to cast like a Rumble or Grizzly Salvage out of your hand, but then you mill an extra 4, and then if you milled a Goryo's Vengeance, you get to copy that Goryo's Vengeance with it on the 3rd turn. So I think there's a lot of potential power in that, in like a Sultai version with Founding. You also get Psychic Frog. I'm not sure if that should be in the main deck or the sideboard. Probably the sideboard, but I don't know for sure. And then, yeah, so some other versions. I'm also sort of thinking about like an Elvish Reclaimer version where you can play like maybe Emperor of Bones, more creatures, and then like you Reclaimer and you get like Gyre Reach Sanitarium and potentially dump a Griselbrand that way if you need to. So different options. We'll be back. We'll be playing more of it. I might just play more of this again next time just because, again, I'm really enjoying this deck and I want to try and refine it a little bit further. I might refine a little bit further off stream too. If I have a league that's like especially noteworthy, then I might go in and record it from replays. But other than that, keep winning the game with combo decks. Until next time, take care everyone. Have a great night.